Canadians can have fulfilling economic and social lives in our country.
Thank you, Kareem. That was a really great, I think, wrap up of all of the issues that are, well, maybe not all of them, but a great number of important issues and implications for both Canada and for our role on, I guess, on the international stage in terms of, um, what our objectives are. I particularly liked that, Mikhail, when you were talking about that. Um, okay, so our next question, and it's interesting because we were going to have more than two questions, and I thought, no, we'll never get through them. But I really do these two questions and have time for James to comment on them at the end. So what I'm going to ask next is for each one of you to suggest policy changes to Ottawa that might address the problems that you identified. Because of course, it's really easy to complain, but we want to be able to be proactive about what we can do. And now we have the ear of James McAnamy, so that's great. So I'm going to ask you though to keep it to the top two or three that you have, and let's cut it down to 3 minutes. And if we can be really careful about the 3-minute time, then we're going to have time at the end for James to actually talk. And then if we have time, we will have time for questions and answers as well. But knowing that we're going to be done at 3, so we only have 25 minutes left. So really keep it to 2 or 3, please. So I'm going to begin with Sharon, please, if you can give us some thoughts on where you'd like to see the government go.
For sure. So, in the year 2000, there were approximately 60,000 temporary work permits that were issued in Canada. And in 2020, that number was over 400,000. That's a 600% increase. What it means is that people have been brought into the country, but not brought basic rights and services. So before, a significant majority had access to healthcare, family unity, jobs, and these basic labor protections. But by constituting the figure of the migrant, this move toward temporariness in the immigration system, by constituting the migrant, a person who doesn't have permanent status, they're excluded from these rights and services, right? And we all here want to live in a fair society, right? And that means a fair society means that everyone has equal rights. And we have seen so viscerally through the pandemic that if we want equal rights, we need equal status. Permanent residency is not about the ability to stay or leave, but it's about rights. It's about our rights, our right to access protections, family unity, and healthcare. These basic, there's a notion of universal rights that we have in Canada, but migrants have been excluded because they have been created as migrants, right? So this toward temporary migration doesn't serve anybody's interest, and it certainly doesn't serve our economy, right? It only serves the interests of big businesses and of education institutions that have no caps on, the profit model, right? So again, challenging this idea and this logic of integration, and calling and recognizing that migrant student workers are engaged in the essential work, the work that is deemed low skilled, that sustains our lives and our world. The ones that are they are the ones that are handling at warehouses, delivering food while everybody is at home, stocking shelves overnight in grocery stores. All of this work is essential work, but it is not counted toward PR. This work must count and be valued toward permanent residency, because these are the jobs that keep us alive. We need to count not only that, but also count work that is part-time in school, and also in that make post-work permits renewable and lower the requirement, the CRS score needed for permanent residency. It also looks like fixing rules around work, which is to remove the time limitations on the study permit and industry restrictions study permit. Myriad of challenges comes when migrant student workers are facing these impossible requirements. And, by which, to say that we are in a multi-tiered immigration system. And I think, our talk today has been generative and kind of teasing that out. And so in order to really, resolve and address the issues at hand, we are calling for a single tier immigration system, which means full and permanent immigration status for and full status for everyone that arrives in the future. Over 400 groups have signed on to our statement calling for full and permanent status for all. That includes 8 million members who are part of these organizations, and also 20,000 individuals who have also signed. And that's at www.statusforall.ca. I'll drop a link. It is necessary and it is pragmatic, and it's imperative that we are moving quickly to address these massive gaps. And I look forward to continuing this conversation with IRCC and with, others who are involved, so that we can ensure a society where we have equal rights, right? It's imperative, especially in this moment where we're thinking about what a post-pandemic recovery will look like. And a post-pandemic recovery must ensure status for all.
Okay, thank you.